Hello, knitters. Hello, how are you? My name is Raina. This is episode 19 of the It's Raining Crafts podcast. I can be found on Ravelry and Instagram under Essa Chick. So, how are you all doing? I hope that you are doing well. I am doing well myself. I have been busy. I apologize for the long absence between episode 18 and 19. So let's get started, shall we? So, I last month I took a trip to see my mother. I was gone for 10 days. She lives in San Jose, California, and I just needed a break. Was I felt a dip in my creativity, and I really wasn't creating anything, and I felt frustrated that I wasn't creating anything. So I went out and I had a nice 10-day break, and we were going to different yarn stores, and I got all types of sock yarn. I spent way too much money at the yarn stores. And I don't want to show it all to you because I have plans for it. So as I'm knitting with it, I'll talk more about it. But and then when I came back from the trip, I figured I better start stashing for Christmas presents. You know, I have the craft show, and I have my own family that I knit for, so I got to figure out who I'm knit. I know who I'm knitting for, and how what yarn, what color, what pattern. You know, my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law are fairly easy. It's my grandmother-in-law. I knit her hitchhiker shawl last year, and I'm rethinking about knitting her another Martina Bam project. So let's get into what I finished. So I got to go back here for a second and get it out of this drawer because I forgot. I finished my sister-in-law's gridiron hat. It's by Argyle Sheep, by Johnny Vasquez, and it's a free pattern, and it's basically simple. You knit 2 rows, and then you slip and you purl, and it was fairly easy. I had to modify the pattern to fit her because the pattern fit me, and Omen in this family goes, if it fits me, it won't fit anyone else because they're smaller than me. So what I did was I cast it on 60 stitches, went down a needle size to size 10 needles instead of 10 and a half, and I knitted until I hit my decreases, and then I had my mother-in-law help me with the rest. So it's a very fun pattern. You know, it's like I do a set every day or 2 sets every day, so I remember it. And so while I showed you that, I might as well show you the cowl that I'm doing to match it. Hi, little one. She's off in the hallway staring at me. So I did a 2x2 rib of knit 2, purl 2 for 5 rows, and then I started into the gridiron pattern. I'm about 4 sets in. I have about 4 more sets to go until I get to the knit 2, purl 2 again, and then that will be done. I cast it on 60 stitches because because I usually, after my son was born, I knitted for, I used the knitting looms, the Nifty Knitter looms, the Martha Stewart looms that you see in the stores, and now they're the Loops and Threads and Boy looms. But I started using those, and then I got bored, so I needed to challenge myself again to use the needles, and now I'm converted because everything is on my needles. So the next project that I'm working on is socks for my best friend. Now, if you remember, back a few episodes ago, around Christmas, I knit her a pair of socks. They turned out to be too small, so this is what I have done so far. I'm making her the same color because her oldest dog has congestive heart failure, and she's not doing too well, and I think that Natalie needs something bright and cheery to make her happy. And so I followed the pattern for my mother-in-law's socks. Instead of doing 15 rows, I did 10 rows of knit 2, purl 2, and then I did 32 rows of the foot, and now I'm 15 rows into the heel flap, and I do them in tandem, so I have 15, I pull out my other sock, and I'm in the same place as I am on this one. So that's going good, and I think that they should be done by next weekend, because I'm, like sock knitting queen. That's what I call myself. And then the next project that I'm working on is my Contented cardigan for myself. I did my increases. I put this down for a while, but now it's, I just feel like I have to knit back and forth. So I took it into Lisa, my LYS, Uncommon Threads in York, Pennsylvania. And after I did my increases, and then she helped me split for the sleeves. So now I'm just knitting back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, knitting and purling, knitting and purling. I have about this much left on this skein, but I have 2 of these skeins that I need to knit into the sweater when before I go and do the next part. So it's coming along slowly but surely, but that's what I'm working on. And I feel bad for my best friend, for Natalie's dog, because Natalie's dog is like Natalie doesn't have any children, so her dogs are her children, and her dogs are my nieces and nephews. So it's like, oh, Auntie Raina. I wish I could be there more for her. I wish that we lived closer so we can sit and knit, and I can help her forget about what's going on with her dog. So, and then the next project that I'm working on, I realize that I get too overwhelmed if I have more than 3 projects. 2 projects. 2 projects is my max now, because if I'm knitting on the sock and I don't feel like knitting on the sock anymore, then I go to Danny's Cow. And once I'm done with Danny's, I do Danny's cowl, and then I go back to the other sock that I'm working on. But too many socks is way too much for me, and I don't like that. Sorry, my cat is just like grazing in between my legs right now. So, the next project that I'm working on, or stalled on, for a good reason, because the Twin Set Designs podcast has an uncowl, and you don't knit on your whip. It's like you take your longest whip and you don't knit on it until June 1st. So, I had my mother, if you remember, my mother asked me to make her 4 blankets. Well, the second blanket has been sitting on the loom forever. So I took a picture of it and I posted it in the group, and you're not supposed to knit on it until June 1st. So, I'm not touching that thing till June 1st. It's sitting in the basket next to my couch, and we will not, I will not knit on it until June 1st. And then if you finish it by August 31st, you get a prize. So I think 3 months is long enough to do the blanket. I don't mind the blanket, but it's just, the loom is just so big. It just feels like big and bulky, and now I don't knit with bulky yarn. I knit with fingering weight yarn. I never thought that I'd knit with fingering weight yarn. I never thought that I'd learn how to needle knit. So, if you want to know how I learned to needle knit, I watched YouTube. My best friend, Natalie, learned to needle knit, and then it's like, I need to learn to needle knit because Natalie knows how, and then we can do it together. So, that's how I learned to needle knit. I learned on YouTube. She did too. Although I think she used the Stitch and Bitch book too. But when I went out to California, I only took 1 pair of socks. I knit on the whole trip. I started on the plane, and then I finished them the day that I was leaving, because I was leaving on the red eye that night to come back home. And I finished those socks, and then I cast on another pair of socks, and I finished those. And now I'm knitting on Natalie's socks. So, what else has been going on? Oh, we signed up for kindergarten. My 5-year-old, he's going to go to a Catholic school in Dallastown. It's a very nice school. They're very nice people. I've heard very good things about St. Joseph's in Dallastown. So my mother-in-law and I are very comfortable with it, and my husband's like, if you guys are comfortable with it, then just go through with it. So we did, and we took him to the school, and he met his teacher, and it was so cute because when we walked into the classroom, he automatically got shy, and the kids were coming up to him saying, we were shy too, we were scared, and they're trying to give him hugs, and they're trying to talk to him, and oh my god, it was so cute. But once once we got into the office where the principal has a hamster, and its name is Jamie. And Jamie, I'm like, oh, like Outlander, you know? Because whenever I hear Jamie, I think of Outlander. So, he warmed up to the hamster. And then he was goofing off him, and he was being his normal goofy self. So, that is what is going on. Kindergarten. I gotta fill out some forms and more forms, and it's gonna be, I think he's gonna like it a lot. He likes preschool. We are getting rave reviews from preschool. You know, they're like, oh, it's like he turned a corner, like it, like turned on, like he shouldn't do this. You know, his teacher said, my mother-in-law, I think he likes us now. So, anyway, that's about what's going on in my life. And my cat is still trying to pet me, because she hears me talking and she thinks I'm on the phone. So instead I'm talking to you. So anyway, I hope that you have a good week, and I promise not to wait so long in the podcasting again. So have a good week and knit happy. Bye-bye.